Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aigan. Welcome to my channel Heart Notes, where I talk about all things perfume. And today I will be doing my Britney Spears perfume collection. I'm not saying range because I don't have all of her perfumes. She has a ton. She's the queen of celebrity fragrances. On Fragrantica she has 36 perfumes noted over there, and I have 15. One of them isn't just an empty bottle at this point, but I have 15 out of the 36. I don't really intend to get any more. I would love to get Maui Fantasy because I love how the bottle looks, but in terms of the scents themselves, I've kind of found that lately Britney's perfumes, they're just very generic and quite weak, so I'm not really into buying any more of hers, but we'll see how it goes. Well, anyways, so I have 15 perfumes. I'll go in chronological order as they have come out, and yeah, let's just start. So it all starts back in 2004 when Britney came out with Believe. So my Believe version is not an old one. I bought this only a couple of years ago, so it doesn't have the dangly bit over here that the original bottle had, and this is not an original formulation, which a lot of people loved and are disappointed by this newer one. So Curious was created by the perfumer Claude Der. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but he made Britney's first perfume, Believe, and he made Beyonce's first perfume, Heat. So that's quite impressive. He's also worked with Kim Kardashian. And in general, I do like this perfume. It is quite a light white floral perfume. Comes off as a romantic springtime scent, but let's look at accords and notes. The main accords are floral, white floral, aquatic, fruity, tuberose, sweet, powdery, musky, woody, and fresh. In the top notes we have magnolia, pear, and lotus. In the middle notes jasmine, tuberose, and cyclamen. And in the base notes musk, vanilla, white woods, and sandalwood. So the white florals, jasmine, tuberose, magnolia, they're really beautiful. The pear gives it freshness, sort of very fresh, uplifting opening. And the lotus, I think, gives off that sort of coldness, like a fresh coldness. But vanilla in the base gives nice sweetness a little bit as well. So in general, it is an enjoyable perfume. It doesn't smell expensive, and it's not expensive. It's one of the cheapest ones you can find from her collection. But with that also, it doesn't really last. So I would say for me, an hour maybe, tops. And that's with a lot of overspraying. I always overspray. So it's definitely not strong. I think it used to be strong. At least that's what the Perfume Council of Fragrantica comments say, that it used to be stronger. This is a lot weaker now. But a lot of people still love this perfume. They're feeling quite nostalgic about it. And you can still easily find it. So I believe this is still quite popular. So yeah, that is that. The collection starts with this perfume. And then afterwards, we move on to the perfume that I think a lot of people actually think might be the first one. So this is the original Britney's Fantasy. The completely iconic perfume. It came out the year after Believe, so it's 2005. Every middle school smells like this, and it's super strong. So this version, I guess it's considered weak comparing to the original, but to me this is still quite a strong perfume. And I'm very determined to finish this bottle soon. I have about a third left, and it's not like I'm just trying to power through to get rid of it. I am actually enjoying this perfume, but yeah, I just want to work through the bottle and finish it up so I can move on to next Britney's perfumes. But yeah, so Britney's Fantasy. Everybody and their mother knows this perfume. I didn't have this actually when this first came out. Also, this one I got just a couple of years ago, so I don't have that nostalgic feeling that everybody else does. But I see how my teenager self would really enjoy this perfume, and I still am enjoying this now. So this isn't a dig at people who still wear this. This is a very sweet, youthful, girly type of perfume. I'm pretty sure that this is Britney's best seller still to this day, and rightfully so, because yeah, it is a nice perfume. Let's look at accords and notes. Main accords are sweet, fruity, tropical, fresh, and chocolate. In the top notes we have kiwi, red lychee, quince. In middle notes white chocolate, cupcake, orchid, and jasmine. And in the base musk, orris root, and woodsy notes. So it's sort of a bright fruity opening with the kiwi and the lychee and quince. But the white chocolate and cupcake sort of, that's what predominates this perfume, and it's what takes over. So yeah, super sweet, super girly. This will last on me, I would say, a bit longer than the Believe perfume, but I still wouldn't say that this is a long-lasting perfume. So maybe like 2 hours, I would say, which isn't great, but again, for the price point, this as well is super affordable, about 20-25 pounds for the 100 milliliter bottle. In terms of season and occasion, I think this is an everyday perfume. For me, this is a home perfume. This is what reminds me of home, what I tend to wear at home as well. But I think in summertime, this might be a bit too much, so a bit colder weather, maybe autumn, early spring. In terms of an age range, this is aimed at teenagers, but I know that a lot of us in the 30s still like this perfume, and people actually get compliments on these as well, so I wouldn't say that there's like an age range for this. So yeah, that is Fantasy by Britney. And we're moving on to Midnight Fantasy, so which came again a year later, so this is 2006. A lot of people actually prefer Midnight Fantasy over the original because it's not as sweet. It's still sweet, but it's kind of like a fresh sweet, like a shampoo type of sweet. And I do enjoy this perfume as well. I think this might be the one that I'm going to work on next after I finish Fantasy. So this perfume was created by Caroline Sabas, and she's also created Britney's Private Show. She's created Miami Glow by Jennifer Lopez, which is also iconic at this point. So I think this perfume definitely goes into her portfolio as one of the iconic ones. Now, in terms of the Fragrantica Council, again, the people in the comment section are sort of divided. I think they kind of either love it or hate it, which is a bit strange. I don't see how you could hate this perfume because it's quite simple, yet very likable at the same time. Let's see what the accords and notes are. The main accords are sweet, fruity, cherry, vanilla, powdery, nutty, floral, and almond. In the top notes we have plum, sour cherry, raspberry. In the middle, orchid, iris, and freesia. And in the base, vanilla, amber, and musk. So yeah, nice freshness from the plum, cherry, raspberry, nice fruity opening, dark berries. The flowers of orchid, iris, and freesia sort of making it like a round and soft. And sweetness from the vanilla. You know, it's fairly simple, but it's very nice. Age range, again, obviously this is aimed at teenagers and younger people. A lot of people are still wearing this from their teenager years, I believe, as well. So I don't really see an age range in terms of a season. This is more suitable for the spring, summer. So with the Fantasy and Midnight Fantasy, you can pretty much cover your year. In terms of occasion, this is an everyday perfume, I would say. And the longevity, I would say, is pretty much similar to the original Fantasy. So about 2 hours, I want to say. So this is another perfume that I like from her collection. I think it's wonderful. So then we move on to Perfume Believe, which came out again the next year. So this is 2007 now we're talking about. And this is very different from the previous ones. So this is a predominantly a patchouli scent. It's not a super strong patchouli, but that is really mainly what you smell, which means I'm not a fan of this perfume. I do enjoy patchouli in perfumes, but it's difficult to smell anything else in here. Now, this doesn't have a perfumer set on Fragrantica, so I'm not sure who created it, but actually people do enjoy this perfume, and a lot of people say that this is even their favorite in Britney's collection, which is interesting because it's just so different from all the other Britney's perfumes. Let's see what the accords and notes are. The main accords are fruity, patchouli, sweet, woody, yellow floral, tropical, citrus, warm spicy, white floral, and earthy. In the top notes there's guava, tangerine. In the middle, lime blossom and honeysuckle. And in the base, patchouli, praline, and amber. Yeah, so the patchouli from the notes in this perfume definitely shines. It's the main thing that I smell. It's a very earthy, woodsy patchouli. There are some flowers as well that you can sort of start to sense after the patchouli calms down a little bit, but it definitely, I don't get the sweetness, I don't get the fruitiness. So I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this perfume, and I don't think that this will be staying in my collection. Once again, this is super affordable. I would believe that this is aimed at a bit of an older demographic, because this doesn't come off as a teenager scent. I think you could wear this all year round. And in terms of longevity, it's not really the strongest, even though it is a mainly patchouli scent, but it's also not super weak. So it's kind of average, I would say, probably as well, the 2 hours as the previous ones. Yeah, so that is Believe. So then we move on to 2008 when Hidden Fantasy comes out. This is, I think, actually my favorite perfume from Britney's collection. And this reminds me of Christmas. I wore this perfume this Christmas as well. It's very citrusy, which doesn't really associate with Christmas, but it has cloves in the notes, which kind of brings that into the wintry, cold Christmassy season. Yeah, I think this is either my favorite or in like the top 2 or 3. So the perfumer for this one is Rodrigo Flores Ro. So I'm sorry if I butchered that as well. But he's worked with a lot of brands and he's made a lot of perfumes, I think 170 or something. And I think he did a great job with this one as well. People in the comments do give hate to this perfume, surprisingly, because I just can't see it. I love it so much, but people actually dislike this perfume quite a lot. But there's also some love given to it, so it's kind of in balance. Let's look at the accords and notes. Main accords are citrus, sweet, warm, spicy, vanilla, white floral, and woody. In the top notes there's orange, tangerine, lemon verbena, and neroli. In the middle notes, sweet notes, clove, lily, and jasmine. And in the base notes, vanilla, amber, woodsy notes, and sandalwood. So super citrusy and bright opening. It reminds me a lot of Amor Amor by Cacharel. It is sweet, but it's not as sweet as that Amor Amor. There's this sweetness from the general sweet notes, whatever that is. There's from the vanilla and the cloves, give that spiciness, that warm spiciness that associates with Christmas, at least to me. There's woods in the base. There's the flowers to make it like feminine, and yeah, I think this is a masterpiece. I really love this perfume and I think it deserves more attention. And I haven't even worn it like that much, but I do tend to overspray again. But yeah, I'm about a third into the bottle. In terms of season, to me this is a winter scent. I can't really see it being worn any other time. In terms of age range, I think everyone can wear it. It doesn't come off as a juvenile or a mature scent. And the longevity, once again, it's not the worst, not the best, so it's pretty average. I would say it's okay for a 20-pound perfume. So yeah, that is Hidden Fantasy by Britney, one of my favorites. Then the next year, 2009, Circus Fantasy comes out. Circus Fantasy is it's like a fruity citrusy as well, and people generally tend to like it too, but there's something missing there. It's a nice perfume, but there's something missing. Again, there's like a sweet citrus, that sweet citrusy undertone that kind of again reminds me of Amor Amor, but this would be like a bit fresher version. It's not as sweet. I don't know why, but it feels like there's something missing in this perfume, but it's definitely not generic, so it's better than the ones she's been coming out with recently. Yeah, so let's look at the accords and notes. The main accords are sweet, floral, fruity, vanilla, and powdery. In the top notes there's raspberry, sugar, apricot blossom. In the middle notes orchid, peony, and water lily. And in the base notes sweet notes, vanilla, musk, violet, and woodsy notes. So yeah, it comes off as really citrusy, but there's no citruses in the notes mentioned at all. Kind of coldness from that lotus. Definitely sweet, with the sugar, the sweet notes, and vanilla. I think it's like a nice balance between the sweet and the fresh. But yeah, there is something interesting about this perfume and I can't put my finger on it. In general, and I enjoy it, but for my sweet citrusy scent, I would go for the Hidden Fantasy. So I'm not completely sure if this will stay in my collection, but yeah, so people generally like it. It's fun and light. It's a spring summertime perfume. Don't really see an age range, maybe like younger people, but in general it doesn't come off as like super youthful. So I think Circus Fantasy is definitely a good perfume in her collection. Then we skip a couple and we move on to 2015 with Intimate Fantasy. I believe this came out with like a lingerie collection that she did, but I haven't checked that, so don't count me on it. Now, Intimate Fantasy is another sweet vanilla perfume, but this is more wearable. A lot of people say that it's more wearable than the original Fantasy. It's not as juvenile and sweet. It's more sort of powdery. Intimate is the great name for this. It seems more intimate. It's more like powdery, secretive, very feminine. I wouldn't say girly, I would say feminine. Quite flirty. I think I once said that I can imagine this being worn by a girl who's like very put together, light hair, super polite, quiet girl, but she's wearing like red lingerie underneath. That's kind of the mood that I'm getting from this perfume. Let's look at the accords and notes. The main accords are vanilla, sweet, powdery, musky, ozonic, citrus, fresh, fruity, white floral, and amber. In the top notes we have lychee, Italian lemon, violet leaf. In the middle notes brown sugar, ozonic notes, Gennet, jasmine, lily of the valley, and in the base notes vanilla, white musk, heliotrope, and benzoin. Yeah, so even though there are fruits in the top notes, I don't really sense them even in the beginning, in the opening. Definitely no lemon there that I can sense. But the brown sugar, the vanilla, the floral notes, it all makes sense and it comes together really beautifully. As I said, Intimate Fantasy is a great name for this perfume. It's not an aggressive sweet, it's more rounded, more feminine, more gentle. So if the original is a bit too much, you maybe want to try this one. So that's Intimate Fantasy by Britney. Why do I keep saying by Britney? Of course it's by Britney. Moving on to the next year, 2016, this is when Private Show comes out. And this is done by the same perfumer, Caroline Sabas, who also made the Midnight Fantasy. And I think this is one of the most popular perfumes as well for Britney, because Private Show is very creamy, milky coffee scent. It's sweet, but it's very rounded sweet, like a soft, sweet, feminine. It's a beautiful perfume. I don't know why they have discontinued it, because people do really love it. The council in the comments are saying that they're buying backups of this perfume, and I think you can still find them here and there. But yeah, unfortunately, this has been discontinued. If you look at the accords and notes, the main accords are sweet, lactonic, coffee, and vanilla. In the top notes, there's whipped cream, coffee, nectarine, and clementine. In the middle notes, dulce de leche, jasmine, sambac, orange blossom, and in the base notes, amber and musk. So yeah, creamy coffee, whipped cream, a bit musky, sweet. It's a beautiful perfume. I don't really see an age range, but I would say that this maybe fits a woman more than a young girl. Probably just because of that coffee note. But in general, again, anyone can wear it. I think any season as well. Might be a bit too much in the hottest summer days, but this isn't a super strong perfume. Again, longevity, about an hour and a half too. I tend to reapply this perfume like 3, 4, 5 times a day if I have it with me. Hence the massive dent that I have made. Yeah, so this definitely is a gem of a perfume, and if you can get your hands on it, maybe do try it out. Then in 2017, VIP Private Show comes out. I have the smallest bottle and it's empty, unfortunately. I have kept this bottle because you can get the discount if you bring an empty perfume bottle to one of the perfume shops that we have here. So I have kept the bottle, but I don't think it's gonna spray anything over here. Oh, it's really pretty. I don't know why, but I remember this as being a bit boring. But now that I smell it, it's actually really pretty. And I think a lot of people are really searching for this perfume as well. And they want to either have a backup or add this to their collection. But it's quite difficult because this has discontinued as well. Now, I will say that this is a bit more generic than the original Private Show, as this is just a more fruity version of it. And the sweet, fruity type of perfume, it is sort of the celebrity classic that they usually make. So it does kind of hit that classic celebrity scent profile. So the raspberry in the base note is, I think, what makes it stand out a bit, because it's fruity just all the way. It's not just a fruity opening which settles into like a sweet vanilla or something. It's actually fruity all the time because of the raspberry in the base. It's very feminine, powdery. In general, yeah, very beautiful scent, but I do enjoy the Private Show more. Right, then we go into the Prerogative Perfumes collection. The first one being Prerogative, which came out in 2018. So this is the first unisex perfume that Britney has done, and interestingly enough, the contract was with Revlon, and I think the rest of her perfumes are with Elizabeth Arden, so it's interesting that she took that bit of step out of the circle that she was in and worked with Revlon. But in any case, from this trio of perfumes, Prerogative is definitely my favorite. It is a coffee scent, but as opposed to Private Show, this isn't a warm, milky, fuzzy coffee. This is a bit more like just fresh coffee, like a cold perfume. In terms of the whole unisex thing, I think that this actually, it leans feminine to me. I guess a guy could wear it, but when I just smell it like that, it just smells like a feminine perfume. But in any case, let's look at accords and notes. The main accords are warm, spicy, coffee, fruity, woody, powdery, amber, soft, spicy, lactonic, and sweet. In the top notes, there's apricot, goji berries, and pink pepper. In the middle, we have coffee, saffron, and red lily. And in the base, sandalwood and amberwood. Yeah, so there aren't really sweet notes listed, and it is kind of a bit sweet perfume, but mainly, honestly, I just get the coffee, like a fresh cold coffee. The longevity for this one is pretty decent, I would say definitely the 2 hours, and I think this is the last perfume that lasts that long. I think after this one it was just all downhill, and the remaining perfumes that I have are quite weak. And I have worn this quite a lot as well. Well, it's not the biggest then, but it definitely is there, and this is the biggest bottle, 100 milliliters. I think this suits young women. I don't really see this as a teenager scent, and I think it would be great in like the transition period where winter is not really gone and spring is not really here yet. I think it's a great scent for those transition periods. Just as the rest of Britney's perfumes, super affordable, 20-25 pounds. A lot of people do compare this to Black Opium. I think Black Opium smells a bit more aggressive, like very in your face. This is a bit more toned down. A lot of people say they don't even smell the coffee at all, so I don't know what's going on there. But in general, I do enjoy this perfume. So that is Prerogative. Next up, a year later, 2019, this is when Rave comes out. As I said, this is sort of the downhill, start of the downhill for me, because even though the perfumes, they smell nice, but they just don't last, they don't stand out, and all it is, they just smell nice for like 20 minutes. So this is sort of a sweet, woody, fruity type of perfume. This is marked as a perfume for women, which I think is what it is, but some people say that this smells a bit masculine to them. I personally don't see that. I think this is a typical women's perfume. I think it might even fit younger girls better. And if we look at the main accords, they are fruity, woody, sweet, white floral, musky, powdery, floral, and citrus. In the top notes, there's raspberry, pear, mandarin orange. In the middle notes, red lily, freesia, and jasmine. And in the base notes, cashmeran, musk, sandalwood, and cedar. So yeah, it's a pretty classic note build-up with the fruity opening, the flowers in the middle, some woods in the base. It is lovely, but I'll be honest, to me this is very boring. Very, very typical celebrity type of perfume. With the name Rave, I would expect something really like hard-hitting, something that you can actually wear to a rave, but this isn't it. Yeah, so this is definitely a miss. So the last one in the Prerogative series is Ego. This came out in 2020, and to me this is another boring one. So this comes off as a creamy, sweet perfume. This is quite similar to Private Show. It's like if you combine Prerogative with Private Show, maybe. So I don't really see the point of this. Yeah, let's look at the main accords and notes. The main accords are woody, warm, spicy, powdery, coffee, fruity, amber, and white floral. And in the notes, we just have sandalwood, apricot, coffee, amberwood, arum lily, saffron, pink pepper, and goji berries. So the notes are quite similar to the previous one, to Rave, but this comes off as, I guess, like a softer version. But this just smells like the last three perfumes combined together. And it just doesn't really make sense to me. Why would you release this? I don't see an age range. I don't see really a season. To me, this is a miss. It smells nice, but it's a miss. And if you have some of the previous perfumes, you definitely wouldn't need this one. Yeah, so that is Ego. Then I have Electric Fantasy, which came out in 2021, so very recent. A lot of people compare this to Donna Born in Roma by Valentino. I have smelled that perfume, but I don't have it in my collection, so I don't remember what it smelled like. I just remember it smelled nice, but that's pretty much it. The opening is really beautiful. It is like a designer scent. Very green and fresh, very juicy. It's quite nice. But the problem with this one is that it doesn't last. It's rubbish in terms of longevity. So even though it smells wonderful, especially in the opening, I don't think that I will be keeping it. Now, if you look at the accords and notes, in the main accords we have amber, tropical, sweet, fruity, vanilla, powdery, fresh, soft, spicy, musky, and white floral. In the top notes there's passion fruit and pink pepper. In the middle, heliotrope and jasmine. And in the base, benzoin and ambroxan. So it is really a very fresh, tropical type of perfume, perfect for summer, ideal. And it doesn't smell like a cheap celebrity perfume. It smells quite nice. It smells very perfumey, you know, like a fresh scent for a woman. But as I said before, it doesn't last 30 minutes and it's gone. So it's very disappointing in that sense. This being compared to a designer scent, I think it has gotten a lot of traction and people are interested in this perfume. But is it really worth it? I'm not sure. But in any case, even if you buy it, it's still super affordable. So it's not the worst thing to blind buy, I guess. So yeah, that is Electric Fantasy. Then on to 2022, when Naked Fantasy comes out. Oh, sorry, it's Fantasy Naked. So this one, I remember again as smelling nice, but nothing special. Yeah, so it smells nice, but it's quite forgettable, I'll be honest. So we do know the perfumer for this one, and it's Olivier Guillotin, who has worked on Taylor Swift's Wonderstruck, also Tom Ford and Beyonce's perfumes, so he's quite experienced, and in general I think he did a good job with this perfume. But I mean, probably he had a limited budget or just some limitations that he had to take into account to create something that is pretty likable, affordable. Given that, yeah, it is a nice perfume, but there's just something missing. There's just something that's not there. If we look at the accords and notes, in the main accords we have sweet, fruity, powdery, vanilla, floral, musky, and lactonic. In the top notes there's applejack, blackcurrant, in the middle peach, osmanthus, and water lily, and in the base cupcake, vanilla, apricot, and musk. So we are returning back to the legendary cupcake note, and with the peach and apricot, the fruits are kind of soft and rounded. They're not like very zesty and very sort of juicy and fresh in your face. So it's a fresh perfume, sweet fresh perfume. Comes off as very everyday-ish spring, summer, early 20s girl. But to me, it's just not really memorable. So I'm not the biggest fan of it. Again, smells nice, but nothing special. Yeah, so that is a Naked Fantasy Naked. And then lastly we come to Jungle Fantasy, which came out just last year. So obviously from the bottle this is very green and juicy in the opening. It smells quite nice, it's refreshing, but it doesn't smell like a room refreshener or a cleaning detergent, which is good. So this really smells like a perfume, a fresh perfume. So the Perfume Council in the Fragrantica comment section, they do all recognize that this really is super weak perfume, which I completely agree to. It is really weak. From all the Britney's perfumes, this is the freshest one, but I think this is also the weakest one, which sometimes can go hand in hand because really fresh perfumes tend to be weaker, but this is just unforgivable. It's 20 minutes, I think, maybe, and it's gone, which is a shame because if this was a strong perfume, it would be really lovely. The main accords are aquatic, ozonic, floral, citrus, sweet, green, white floral, and fresh. In the top notes we have watermelon, yuzu, and violet leaf. In the middle notes water lily, gardenia, and gustavia flower. And in the base cupcake and tonka. Now the cupcake in the base stands out incredibly among all the other notes because they're just all so fresh and spring and summertime like that the cupcake kind of stands out, but I don't really sense the cupcake. It's blended in a way that it doesn't jump at you. Again, the water lily, similarly as lotus, I think that's what gives the kind of very cold and fresh feeling for the perfume. The watermelon as well makes it super juicy. So in general, it smells lovely, but it's really weak. Now, I am missing a couple of Britney's perfumes. Obviously, I don't have them all. Maybe there's other perfumes that are super fresh and juicy and green that maybe are better in terms of longevity, but yeah, this one isn't it. So I probably wouldn't waste my money on this perfume because you can definitely find something stronger that's fresh and not have to reapply 17 times a day. So yeah, that is it. That's all the Britney's perfumes that I have. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you if you got this far, and let me know what Britney's perfumes you enjoy and you have in your collection, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!